Hi, I'm Bob, the Mortgage Coach Mitchell, and thank you very much for stopping by today. Today we're starting a new series. This is going to be a follow-up on our series on if you should buy a house. This is going to be for the folks who've decided that, yes, I should buy a house. Now you want to know how to go about doing it. So this is going to be a step-by-step tutorial on how you can put yourself in a position to successfully buy a house. All right, so let's put you into a house. The first thing we're going to talk about is a spending diary. All right, one of the things that people would really surprise, and when I did this, it surprised me, is how much money you're letting slip through your fingers on a daily, weekly, or monthly, or yearly basis. My big vice were the big sodas that you get at Quick Trip. I call them super big gulps. I know that's 7-Elevens, but super big gulp. I was stopping in on my way to work and picking one of those up in the morning, and I was stopping on my way home from work at the same Quick Trip and picking up another one. They were like $1.29 each. When I looked at that on an annual basis, that came up to almost $2,000 a year that I was spending on Rooster Booster Light and Diet Mountain Dew. I figured that there's something that was money that I could save, that not only would I be able to save the money, it would actually be better for me. So I stopped buying the Rooster Booster Light and the Diet Mountain Dew, and instead started brewing my own tea at home and taking it with me. So that was right off the bat, was probably $1,500 to $2,000 a year that I wasn't wasting. I wasn't just pissing away, that I could use to buy a house if I wanted. All right, there's going to be other things. Streaming services. Are you using all your streaming services? Cable. Heck, when I do a loan application, you would not believe how many people I come across that are spending $150, $200 a month on cable. Well, with streaming, do you really need it? Now, sometimes maybe you can't get good reception, or you don't have a fast internet or something along those lines. But still, do you really need every streaming service? So that's a thing. And then as you go through the spending diary and you look at what you've been spending money on, you'll be able to see that there are things that you might be able to go ahead and tighten up on. That's going to make it a lot less painful to save. So now, once you figure out what that amount is, that you can work it into your budget, that's not going to be painful for you to go ahead and start to save. What I want you to do is I want you to enter into a forced savings arrangement. And what I mean by that is I want you to go to your employer or to your human resources and say, hey, I want to have money taken out of my paycheck and deposited into a savings account. Now, depending on what kind of savings programs are offered through your work, they might even be able to take those out pre-taxes. But even if they don't, it's still an easier way to save money because you never see it. If you don't see it, you're not going to miss it. Okay? So when I say setting it up in an account, I also want you to make that account as difficult to get the money out of as possible. I don't want you to be, in a position to where, you're constantly raiding your savings account, and it's too easy. So no debit cards. If you can pick an institution that's not in the town or doesn't have a branch where you have to drive to get your money. I actually set up a program with Navy Federal back in the day where I had to write for my money. I couldn't even call for it. They agreed to where they wouldn't give me my money back unless I wrote them a letter to ask for it. That made it really difficult to get that money out of there, and I was able to accumulate a lump sum, which I did indeed use to buy a house with. So anyway, spending diary, figure out where your money's going, force savings, okay? Money's like oil. It's not like gasoline. It doesn't necessarily make the car run, but it does make it run a lot smoother. So if you don't have enough oil, the car is not going to run. The same thing with buying a house. The more money that you can save up before you get to the point where you start looking at houses, the easier it's going to be on you, because there are, even on a transaction where we have the seller paying your closing costs and your prepaids, and maybe you're going for a VA or USDA loan that doesn't require a down payment, you're still going to need what I refer to as wiggle room money. That's money that you're going to need to have to be able to wiggle yourself from the time that you make the initial offer until closing. That's going to cover earnest money, appraisals, credit reports, building inspections. I think you should go above and beyond that. I think you should also save up some money to have reserves. At least 6 months worth of the PITI would be a good thing to have, because inevitably when you're at your lowest point, where you're at the point where you've spent all the money, you closed on the house, you rubbed your nickels together to come up with quarters, and now you're as broke as you've ever been, but now you're the proud owner of a house that has a broken air conditioning unit. Okay, you're not going to want to sit there and and suffer through 102 degrees with 85% humidity. So you're going to want that air conditioner fixed, or you're going to want to buy a sofa, or maybe some artwork for the house, or whatever it is. You're going to have moving expenses, even if it's just pizza and beer for the people who help you in the truck rental. The more money you can save, the better. Okay, so that's the number one step. Figure out where you're spending your money, figure out where you can save, and then force yourself to save it. So again, I'm Bob, the Mortgage Coach Mitchell. Thanks for stopping in. If you have any questions about this, feel free to hit me up in the comments or go to the website. There's a contact form there, and there's also my telephone number if you just want to call and ask me. Again, thanks a lot and have a great day. Bye-bye.